Hey everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here with Painted Studios. Give me just a sec. I'm gonna make sure we're loaded live so I can see anything you might want to say to me on my iPad. Because when I flip this down, we all know I don't see anything. So give me just a moment. There we go. We are now live on all of my devices. Okay, so yesterday you saw me start on my big pumpkin door sign. And when I call them door signs, they're big enough to hang next to your door. They're huge. So I did the pumpkin one, I have the coffin one sitting over there, and of course we have our completed skulls. These I still have to top coat, so we'll be doing that later. I don't think you need to watch me do that. Hey, Ashley, nice to see you here. So we're gonna work in some steps today because there are layers that have to go on in between other things. So I'm going to be kind of bouncing back and forth, so be patient with me. But the reason for that is so that it has the right finish and it seals up well. Okay, so we're going to flip down here. So this is my big pumpkin board. And as you can see, the pumpkin's up at the top. And then last night after we signed off, or I don't know if you saw me putting foil adhesive on this or not, but this is now completely coated with our Artsyville foil adhesive. It's cured overnight, so it's at the perfect tack level. You do not have to wait. Ashley says, oh, Ashley finished her job early, so she got to pop in and say hi. Yay, that's awesome. Thank you, Ashley, for popping in. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to release a foil on here so that we have the background for the lettering. We are going to use our Woodhaven Gold. It looks very woody when applied, and I thought that's the perfect look for this sign. All right, give me a second. We're going to roll it down. Now, foil, I'm going to remind everybody each time we do this. Hey, Kathy. Foil has a pretty side and a not so pretty side. It's always not so pretty side down to the surface. And you can see I'm just going to kind of roll this up onto this surface. I don't care if it's not completely perfect, because this has a direction. This is a wood grain pattern, so it has a direction, and I have to pay attention to that. Of course, I'm maybe going a little crooked, so I'm just going to replace it. Since I haven't pushed it down very hard, that's not going to be a problem. Let me cut it off up here, and I will position it correctly. Okay, see, I got a little bit of funky down here, simply because I didn't smooth this out when I was rolling it. So we're going to do that right now. And it doesn't matter if I pull it up and I lose a little foil in one spot or another, because you will not see it in the end. Okay, let's get this over here. Come on, unroll. And because I've done this, if I have any skip spots, I'll just simply come back and put a little more foil on in this blank sticky spots. That always helps. And right now you can hear kind of popping sounds like I'm popping bubbles. What I'm actually doing is getting the air bubbles out of the foil. And in doing that, I'm helping the release. All right, let me rub. Everything all the way handled. I'm sorry, my camera angle is not wider. Let me see if I can pull this up just a little so you can all see it a little better. Sorry, it's going to take a second of adjusting. Now, when I get underneath here, I'm going to see just how well I adjusted. Not too bad. Not great, but not too bad. Better. There we go. So now you're seeing more of the board. I love the air bubbles because they actually help release the foil. All right, now I'm going to take a scrub brush. You can use this size or you could use a bigger one. I'm going to go scrub vertically and horizontally. I know you can't see the whole thing just yet. I'm scrubbing vertically and horizontally to make sure I've got my full release. All right, here we go. See how we do. This is going to be very pretty, but I definitely think I'm going to have some touch-up spots. Oh, this is gorgeous on here. Okay. Look how beautiful that is on there. Oh. Isn't this gorgeous? This is our Woodhaven gold foil, Ashley. Oh, and you wanted the orange gold. That is the muted gold. So just send me a message, Ashley. Tell me how much you want. I have your information on file. This is the Woodhaven gold, and the other is muted gold. I'm just getting the spots I missed up on the edges up here. Because, yeah, it happens. I miss spots. Oh no, I'm human. Take the ends, flip them around. What I'm doing is up here. Let's see if I can get that so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, up here I just didn't get enough foil up on the little curved parts, so I'm coming back over with some more foil. And I am being aware of the direction of this. You can't just turn it sideways. When all your pattern goes this way, you can't turn the foil this way and have it look good, because then you're changing the direction of your pattern. So unless you want to intentionally change the direction of your pattern, don't do that. Okay, let's see what else. Got a little sticky spot right there. Let's move this way. A little mist spot right there. And we're all good. So yes, there are some crinkles and spots. I like that. That's kind of cool looking, but I know not everybody will love it, so I will go back and touch that spot up right there. Let's see how well I got. Yep, just fine. Okay, so the next thing then we're going to do is we are going to put some sealant on here. I'm going to use my AquaGuard gloss. Again, not the normal container it comes in. This is my pour-off jar, but Faux Effects makes AquaGuard gloss. It is strong, but it is probably their thinnest, lightest weight top coat for applying for something like this. It's goes on very nice and easily, and it's interior and exterior rated. So we're gonna put this up this way, and I'm going to start my top coating. So I'm just coming in here, putting a little on here. I'm using gloss over the foils. Even though these are a more matte foil, I could easily use a satin finish on here. Possibly even a dull, get a kind of nice woody tone. I use gloss because what I want to do with this, I'm going to put lettering on here, but I have found that the lettering sticks better over foil, and you have less pull-up from the backing sheets if you seal it with a top coat first. So we are going to do that during our live, but the first thing I need to do is seal this up, and we'll work on the coffin. Get this done over here. This is so cute. Now, if I wanted to, I could change the tones on this, go on the back, turn it over, and put lettering on there that says spooky, but I'm going for harvest today. And if I get time before tomorrow, I will foil the back. I'm not making any promises because I have to have this ready for 7:30 tomorrow morning, because it needs to go over to the farmer's market with me. Over there, I'm not teaching how to do it, I'm actually just selling the stuff. All right, so that's got a nice layer of... Sorry about that, somebody called and I thought I hung up on it and I actually accepted the call and I don't know what's going on. I can't do phone calls and lives. I thought I turned off the cellular, but sometimes they come through on Wi-Fi. Okay, so I've got that all painted, all sealed up. We're gonna set this to the side and let it dry. And then we're gonna come back to that and put letters on it later. Okay. All right, so I know you wanted to see what's going on here. So our coffin shape, you know that I put the Silver Clouds foil in here, and then I had foil adhesive on the edges. Also, to save myself time, I already sealed the center of this so we can go right into the lettering after I put the foil on. And yeah, let's take a cool look here. This is what we're gonna do on the edges. Whew. Let's take that off. We're just gonna work in pieces and go slowly around. So let me put this over here so you, again, I think I need to just angle up. Sorry, you're gonna get a strange view for a little while I just shift the angle. There we go. I wanted to shift that up so you all could see what I was doing, and it takes a moment. Okie dokie. So now I've got our silver, which one is this? I gotta remember this one. Wild Leopard in Silver. See, look, I actually checked something for a change instead of just assuming I knew what it was. Okay, so I'm wrapping it around the inside and the outside. I'm gonna warm this with my hands, give it a little scrub. This is gonna be the most disco coffin I've ever seen. And you're gonna crack up when I tell you what I'm gonna do after we do this. Here. This is going to be so cute, so fun. Oh, the edges, you're right, the edges are going to look spicy, Ashley. Hi, Bethany, thank you for coming in. And you gotta make a little something happen. You know, quite frankly, if I was going to be buried in a coffin, I'd probably have somebody foil it first. So this is right up my alley here. Okay, let's get a little bit right here. I missed a spot right there, and it shows badly. There we go. And again, I'm not worrying too much if my foil is perfect on here. Again, this is an outside seasonal decoration. So while I want it to look good, I don't get wrapped up in the word perfect on things. We're gonna scoot down here so you can see what I'm doing. And I got some really, really good advice the other day. The concept of perfection is actually based on fear. And I like that because what it is you're so afraid of somebody thinking you didn't do enough. Where did I put my scissors? Oh, there they are, under the coffin. So the inference that I got was that you're so concerned with failing others, with failing the people you care about, that your perfectionism is a self-protection to keep from being negatively criticized. And that means you're giving too much power to other people about what they think of what you do. So I like that. I thought that was really an interesting point, because if I thought about my really perfectionist moments, and I don't have a lot of them, because that's never been something I worried a lot about, but I do have them. It is truly, for me, a fear. I don't, The hardest projects I've had, I've worked so hard to make perfect because I was afraid I was doing them wrong. That's where I was trying to go with that. And I have found that when I don't obsess about how perfect it is, everything comes out better for me. So I just embrace my materials, I embrace the materials' flaws, and enjoy myself with it. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna flip this the other way. I don't know if what I said made sense to anybody else other than me. You live by that saying, Ashley, I can imagine, because your work is beautiful. But we all know if we get obsessed by something and it has to be perfect, there's a fear trigger behind that. And I thought that was an interesting thing because it provided an amazing insight to me. Plus, I think perfection is overrated. Perfection is machine-like and tooled and leaves no room for character. And since we all know I am a character, I need to have room for character. Oh, I am loving how this is coming out. Oh my God. Look how cool this is. I mean, sorry about that. Clearing the screen, it all froze up for a second. You guys are awesome. Thank you for popping in, and thank you for all the nice words about my work. You know, as creative people, we kind of need to think less about perfect and more about the creative, because the creative part is perfect in itself, flaws and all. Okay, that's my lecture for the day. So says Maury. You're all welcome to go and have a drink now. Okay, let me get a little more foil. We just have a little bit left to do. I don't use this wild, is it wild leopard or wild cheetah? I have to check. Wild leopard pattern very often. I usually stick with the smaller leopard patterns, but I got this combo together and I thought, God, that's just gonna look too cool. Okay. There's my little scrubber. Get a little, still sticky. Yeah, I got a little spot down there that I missed scrubbing earlier. Coming down to the end of foiling this piece, and then we're going to put some letters in here. Okay, so we are all foiled, and I'm going to put this up and hold it a little further back so you can see it. So already you can see that is cool. Leopard and silver cloud, great look. I'm loving this. It's just exactly what I wanted. Okay, so we're gonna flip back down and we're gonna work on the lettering and stuff. So I printed out all kinds of things. We have our rest in peace with a bat. This is for the other sign. There's the rest in peace. Here we go. Woohoo! So let's get our lettering on. Now this will go on easier again because I put a coating on it already. So I have my RIP banner that's going right in the center. I cut these on my Cricut Maker, weeded them, and then mounted them to the backing film, or the mounting tape, whatever you want to call it. Now, if this was bigger, I would be carefully applying it to a larger surface and kind of pulling the paper out from under it as I did, but these are smaller, so I'm going to visually, I'm going to peel it off in my hand so that I can then visually place it. That looks good. Okay, I've got my RIP in here. Oops, didn't get that corner laid down because it's stuck to something else. Okay, now the other thing I want you to watch, I am not pulling this up like this. This puts too much tension on the foil and can cause things not to lay well. I take the backing tape, the mounting tape, the backing film, whatever you're gonna call it, and roll it back completely parallel because it takes the pressure off the surface and it'll lay down better. You won't have it pulling up, you won't have any tears, things like that. Okay, so we've got our RIP. We're going to mount our bat next. He's going up there. So again, I'm going to peel it off the backing. And I'm going to place him, I don't know if you can see, let me check and see how much you can see on the screen. I'm going to move it just slightly that way. So I'm going to put the bat right there. Need to make sure I've got him no wider than his wingspan. Okay, so there's my bat applied to the surface, and again, rolling my tape parallel to the surface so I don't put any pressure and have any release issues. Now this one was a big challenge to cut out because of all these little details. Actually, what I ended up doing is peeling this guy off his original piece of mounting back film, and then remounting it on another piece, because then when I lifted this up, most of those little cutouts stayed on its original mounting film. Hey Desiree, Ashley, thank you, darling. So let's come back in here. Hi Ann, how are you? Nice to see you here. So we've got our RIP down, we have our bat down. Now we're gonna do the rest in piece. So here's my rest. Let's, now I did smooth all these, but that doesn't mean I might not have some issues getting the backing paper off, because there always wants to be something that's challenging me. Okay, so I'm rolling my backing paper off the same way I applied the lettering and the signage up to the top. I'm rolling it completely perpendicular this way, with a little more control over how these things come off. Doesn't want to come off. It wants to stay stuck. Oh, I see what's happening. Come on, you little stinkers. There we go. I'm getting it all off. It just wants to stick. There we go. Everything off, except one little spot there. There's a little tiny piece of stuck backing paper. Let me get a little picker, pull that off. You definitely don't want to leave that on there because that will keep it from adhering to the surface correctly. It's not a big deal, it just needs to get off. Okay, that says rest, so we are going for rest in peace. I'm gonna stand up again so I can see if I'm centered and straight. There we go, rest. And then we have a piece here. Again, I'm going to peel those letters off. Okay. Here we go, getting them all off. This is like, I feel like taking some of these off sometimes is like suspenseful. Will it or won't it? Is it gonna do something that's gonna be a problem? Go. And the little piece that's on my hand there, that was actually a piece that I forgot to weed out of one of these little loops on here. So, okay, let's get the, I did it backwards. That's, I even did it upside down, which I think is kind of funny. So I'm gonna keep it completely upside down now, because that's piece upside down. I am not very smart. Let's see if I can get this off before I push, because I did push it down, I think. Yeah, I am a genius. This looked like an R to me because it was upside down. I did it myself. I got no one else to blame. Let's see if I can get this back up. Hopefully I didn't push it down too hard so everything will come back up. Oh, I'm so smart. I know you all want to be me. Okay. So I'm doing this very, very gently because I don't want to ruin it. You know, I've already laid it down on a surface once, so let's not ruin it. Worst comes to worst, I just have to cut it again. But I'd really rather not do that because I don't have much of this dark purple left. And I really like this color for this. I don't know about anybody else, but this has given me a hot flash. So this is how you fix things like this. You realize it and you pull it up and you figure out exactly what's needed to correct it. Just is what it is. Everybody makes a mistake from time to time. This was one of my big bonehead moves today. Last letter will get you off. A little warm. Thank God I didn't take off the backing tape, or the mounting tape, or whatever the hell this stuff is called. Got it all off. Okay, let's try this the right way. Let's set that one there. Let's get our rest back on. Here we go. Rest. This took a little turn that I hadn't expected today. Okay, that's put down there. Let's get our piece back up here. I have to fix that P right there. Woo, that one made me sweaty. I was like, oh God, don't tell me I really screwed that up. I don't have time for that today. this down to the bottom. Make sure that one's centered. Oh, you got the skull in the coffin, Desiree. That's too cute. Yes, I'm happy you were able to get that. Okay, let's center this. And this is a little easier to center here because it's smaller and narrower down here, I think, is what I was trying to say. Okay, let's see if I can get this to stick. I'm probably going to have to do a little tweaking on the letters once I get them all off of here, just because, you know, I just remounted them. So there may be some smoothing issues that I have to cope with. Okay. And I'm going to do each one of those as I get to it. Let's get this guy straightened out a little bit. There we go. What the heck is going on with these today? All these spam calls, and they're all coming through my Wi-Fi calling, which is really annoying because if I turn the Wi-Fi off, then I don't get to do a live either. Come on, sticky, sticky, sticky. Okay, got it all down in there. Let me just check a few letters, clean things up a little bit, lay them down a little smoother. Usually when I'm on later in the day, the crazy phone calls have already come through. But because we're going to do a couple lives today, yes, we are doing a couple lives. They're obviously all coming through while I'm on this live. Okay, those are all tacked down nice and smooth. They're sticking well, so I didn't ruin them. That's good to know. That gets out of the way. And here is my in. So let's peel that back. Let's make sure I put it on right side up this time. Now see, when they're small pieces like this, I'm just going to peel the backing off and mount it. If it were larger, more complicated, I'd be putting it on like this and peeling the paper out from behind it. That's not what I have to do today, though, thank goodness. I like it this way. It's easier for me to mount it. Excuse me. It's allergy season. I get little tickles in my throat. Okay, there we go. Everything's off. And now I gotta sit up or stand up and look to place this evenly between these two words. There we go. All right. So I've got all my letters and everything on here. Peel it back. And again, pulling my tapes completely parallel. Desiree, I don't know how to turn off Wi-Fi calling. I've tried. I have, every time I think I understand what I'm doing, something changes and I don't know anymore. It all messes with my brain. Come on. Come on. everything's pressed down, sealed neatly to the surface. And then we're going to put a layer of top coat on here. Go back to our AquaGuard. Now I'd have to do this regardless of whether or not I was going to do anything else to this, simply because I have a lot of foil and I need to also seal up my lettering and things to make it more stable. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. We're going to be back live again a little later today. We're going to pour some epoxy in here. We're going to swirl a little black and whites and stuff and make it look like the background, only translucent on top of here. So I need to seal up these letters, because if I don't, the epoxy can interact with the adhesive and make it buckle a little. I've found that out the hard way on several things. It pisses me off. Now, if this already had epoxy in here, I put the letters down and put more epoxy over it, that would be fine, because for whatever reason, that doesn't make the lettering pull up. It just seems to bond it more into the epoxy, but there we go. So now I've sealed that, and let me seal my outside. There's that done. And you can see that now that everything's foiled and put together, top coat's just gliding on, super quick and easy. Go up here so you can see a little bit of what I'm doing, although I'm about to go out of the frame again. Get things out of the way. Okay. So one of the things that happened this morning is I had a momentary oops. I put foil adhesive on the frame of this, where I put the leopard this morning, and then I set it on my plastic tablecloth. Well, the tablecloth bonded right to it. And that was accidental, because I didn't realize the tablecloth was touching it, or the table covering was touching it. So I had to take this and sand off the adhesive to sand off the plastic table covering, and then I had to completely reapply the foil adhesive on one side. Took about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes total. So if you have an oops spot before you start freaking out and thinking you've ruined it forever, there's almost always a fix. Okay, so let me pull this down, lean this up so you can get a better idea of where we are. Okay, so we've got our RIP, rest in peace, on here in purple and silver. Hey, Maddie, nice to see you. Now we're gonna set that to the side. It's gonna dry, and later this afternoon, we're gonna put some epoxy in there to create some more interest. This one, now that we have gotten our foil and our adhesive and our top coats all sealed up on this one, we are ready to put the harvest on the big pumpkin one. So let's get that one going. Okay, we're back here. Here is the top of my sign, and here are my first 3 letters. I want to, before I do anything else, I want to place everything on here to see exactly how I want to space it. So I need to get my letters lined up, spaced out. Okay, I think that's, I might actually cut these apart and space them out a little bit, even more, just because I'm not quite there with the spacing yet. So and when I do something like this, I'm going to take them out, take them across each other, place them, and then space them until they're exactly where I want them, and then I will put them down in each one of the spaces. This is not easy. If I was not a person comfortable with spacing things, I would draw a chalk line down the center. Chalk, because that can be wiped off. You don't want to put something on here that it's permanent, so no ink or anything. And you can't use tape because tape has to come off. Chalk, you can put a line down something, center everything. I could put a chalk line right down the center against a ruler, and then chalk wipes off. So, okay, so let's space things a little bit. Okay, now I gotta stand up and look at my spacing because I know I'm not quite there. Let's see, move that a little bit there. Okay, so we're gonna start. Actually, you know what? I am gonna do a chalk line down here. Let's be smart. I know I have chalk, I always do. Okay. I don't happen to have my yardstick here with me, but I have a ruler. That'll work. Okay, chalk line down the center. My hand or a little damp cloth or whatever will take all of that off. So let's make sure we're centered. Let's put our H here. Great. Hi Latua. Yes, it did come out super cute. Okay, so I've got my chalk line marking the center here. So the first thing I gotta do is peel back my H. And I think I'm gonna need my little picking tool because the ends want to lift. Now the other thing you have to watch when you get these letters cut is to make sure that letters like I and H, anything that looks the same upside down as it would right side up, you have to watch because fonts, different fonts, will make certain letters that look even top and bottom, top heavy or bottom heavy. So do not. Let's get that centered. You know, don't put your letters on upside down. You already know I've done it. Heck, I did it in this video. Oh, okay, here is my H. There we go. Off. Let's peel this back a little. There's my A. And I do stand up to do these because things that look level sideways aren't always level when you stand up over them. Okay. Okay, and now you're going to see, if you look at my films here that I just pulled off, and this will show you better. I'm still pulling ever so slightly small amounts of foil, even though I sealed them with foil adhesive. So you definitely need to seal this because the backing tape itself can pull foil off a surface. Yes, AquaGuard is interior and exterior rated. Okay, here we go. There's my R. Watch when I get on the bottom, there won't be room for the T. I will have misspaced it in my brain. And see, now I can take the chalk lines off and it just comes off with my fingers. Okay. If I was really OCD about this, I'd have it measured out and stuff like that. That's not me. Here's my E. Let's move this down a little bit. Here's my E. Here's my S. And if you might notice, my hand holds the edge of the mounting tape because then I don't have to pick it up off of the foil. I can just already have it lifted off. There's that all off. Take that. And then we'll get our last letter to go. Here's my T. My T, and let me place that. Alrighty, I didn't leave my I didn't leave a finger holding right here like an idiot, so now I have to kind of carefully peel it off. Okay, and there's our harvest board. Now I will be top coating this because I want to protect the lettering and the foil and all of that, so that's what we're gonna do right now. And then as soon as it's done, I'll pull back and show you the signs. And we'll talk about the live that I'll do in a little while. As you notice, I'm not even worrying about the chalk on here, because there's just a fine little bit about it, and if I put water-based top coat over it, I just brush it into the top coat. There's not enough to distort the gloss or anything else. There's not enough chalk on here to make that a problem. Again, all my brush strokes go in the same direction. I'm not doing this, I'm not dabbing it on because that leaves bad brush marks. So I go wet on, and then I brush from the dry back into the wet because that allows me to smooth things without leaving weird brush marks in here. Because if I went like this and brushed this way, there's a brush mark right there where I dropped my brush. If I come in from where I have my dry area brushing liquid into the wet, it smooths it all down. Just want to make sure that I do not have issues with my lettering. Piece of shit on there. Oops, I swore, I apologize. Try to keep my swearing off of my lives. But sometimes, I'm human, I fail. Okay, let's get some more on here. So I like to move it all over the place and then I smooth it back into the overlap. Don't overbrush your top coat. That's part of why people struggle with top coats. Get it on. Smooth it out. Leave it alone. Because if you keep coming back and brushing and brushing and brushing and brushing and brushing, what happens then is you leave shiny spots and dull spots, and it will look funny, and you'll be going, why can't I get my top coat to work? It's because you're overworking it. Just brush it on. Faux Effects top coats have a nice little bit of work time, so I don't have too much trouble with them. A lot of them have wonderful self-leveling properties, so even that takes care of a problem. Okay, whoops, I'm off the screen again. There we go. I'm just going to brush the last of this. One more coat onto the pumpkin. Just make sure there, I had a little spot that I missed. So if you see me doing swipes like this, what I'm doing is I'm coming in, swooping and lifting my brush. That keeps me also from having a hard edge. It's kind of like I'm feathering the brush into the surface so that I can avoid causing more streak marks. Okay, let's get a little more on here. And this one's done. So let me hold this up and you can see it. Here we go, it says harvest. I'll take a better picture of it and post it on the webpage, but I mean, that is so cute. I love this. I am so happy with that. Okay, that's gonna stay over there and dry. Alrighty. I will be back in a couple hours. We're going to do epoxy on this the coffin board. We're going to pour it in there. We're going to do a lot of clear, and then I'm going to swirl in a few colors. So I will see you shortly, but I got some other work to do, including packing up to go out into this market tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.